If you've been putting in the work, hitting the gym, eating right, but that little bit of stubborn belly fat just refuses to leave, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're going to break down a science-backed 3-stage plan that's designed to not just help you lose it, but to keep it off for good. So if you've ever felt like your belly fat is the absolute last to leave the party, I'm here to tell you, you are not imagining it. There's a real physiological reason for this. Basically, your body holds onto it more tightly than fat anywhere else because it's like your emergency fuel tank. It's the last thing it wants to give up. And because your body is literally saving this fat for last, your strategy has to change as you get leaner. You can't use the same game plan from start to finish. The diet that helps you lose the first 10 or 20 pounds, well, it's just not going to be the one that gets you across that final finish line. So, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll cover the starting point, why stages are so important in the first place. Then we'll dive into each phase. Stage 1, the foundation. Stage 2, the refinement. And Stage 3, the final push. And we'll wrap it all up with what is honestly the most critical part, the sustainability question. Okay, let's dive into this. Before we even talk about how to do it, we really need to understand why. This is the piece of the puzzle that makes the whole plan just click. So think about fat loss on a timeline. When your body fat is over, say, 15%, you're losing fat from pretty much everywhere. But here's the kicker. It's only when you get down to that 15% mark that your body really starts to prioritize burning off that stubborn belly fat. Then you get to around 12%, you see a huge difference, and by 10%, it's pretty much gone. And that right there is why you need different stages for your diet. All right, stage 1. The whole goal here is just to get down to that 15% body fat level. And I've got good news for you. Physiologically, this is the easiest part of the journey. Your hunger is more manageable and your risk of losing muscle is pretty low. All we need to do is focus on 2 simple but incredibly powerful pillars. And let's be really clear about what this means. This isn't about some crazy diet or cutting out all your carbs or anything like that. It really just boils down to 2 things. Number 1, you need a consistent calorie deficit to force your body to burn that stored fat. And number 2, you've got to eat enough protein to make sure the weight you're losing is actually fat and not your hard-earned muscle. And this right here, this picture, illustrates the secret weapon for managing that calorie deficit. It's all about low-calorie density foods. I mean, look at it. For the exact same 200 calories, you could have a few cookies that'll be gone in a minute, or you could have this massive, filling bowl of strawberries. Eating more whole foods keeps you full, which makes being in a deficit feel almost effortless. And just how powerful is this? Well, get this. A 2019 study put people on 2 different diets and let them eat as much as they wanted. The group eating the whole unprocessed foods, they naturally ate over 500 fewer calories every single day, just because the food was so much more filling. And yep, they lost weight without even trying. Now let's talk about protein. Seriously, think of it as an insurance policy for your muscles. It's been shown over and over again in studies. When people are in a calorie deficit, the groups that eat more protein lose way more body fat and keep more muscle than the low-protein groups, even if they lose the exact same amount of total weight on the scale. It's a non-negotiable. Okay, so let's move on. Once you've hit that 15% body fat mark, your body starts to fight back a little. It adapts. Your metabolism slows down a bit to protect its remaining fat stores. So to keep making progress and get from 15% down to 12, we've got to get a lot more precise. So why does precision all of a sudden become so important? Well, check this out. Research shows that the average person underestimates how many calories they eat per day by a whopping 429 calories. That is more than enough to completely stop your fat loss in its tracks. So this is the point where actually tracking what you eat, even for just a little while, becomes an absolute game changer. So here's where we shift the strategy. We're going to keep protein high, that's a given. But we make one calculated change. We lower our dietary fat to about 20 to 25% of our total calories. Now, this is still perfectly healthy, but it frees up a ton of calories for more carbohydrates. And why do we do that? Because those carbs are going to help you manage hunger and, most importantly, fuel your performance in the gym. All right, here we go. The final boss. Getting from 12% down to 10% body fat, this is by far the most difficult stage. It's going to require a lot of discipline and, yeah, some sacrifice to shed that last, most stubborn layer of fat. Success in this final push is all about meticulous consistency. There is just very little room for error here. This means you've got to track your calories every single day, you've got to build your meals around the most filling foods you can find, and you have to plan ahead for any social situation, like a dinner out or a drink with friends, so it doesn't derail all your progress. Okay, so you did it. You went through all 3 stages. You put in the hard work, the discipline, you got incredibly lean. But now, that brings us to what is truly the most important question of all. And here's the reality check. For the vast, vast majority of us, the real sweet spot for a sustainable physique is living right around 12 to 15% body fat. At this level, it's actually practical to maintain day to day. You're getting all the health benefits of being lean, and you still look and feel absolutely fantastic. Because you have to remember, pushing to get leaner than 12%, well, it isn't free. It always comes with trade-offs. For a lot of people, that means lower energy levels, less strength in the gym, and a level of social and dietary sacrifice that honestly can just be draining to keep up long term. So ultimately, it really just boils down to this. Before you start that final, difficult push, you have to be really honest with yourself about your goal. Are you chasing a temporary look for a photo shoot or a vacation, or are you trying to build a sustainable lifestyle you can enjoy for years to come? There's no right or wrong answer, but knowing which one you truly want, that's what will tell you exactly where your real finish line is.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel, which give us motivation to make better content for you. See you in the next video.